Hey, you're watching Rapid MMA. I'm Tyler, and we're going to quickly discuss what just took place tonight, which is Dillashaw versus Cruz, and we'll briefly discuss Alvarez versus Anthony Pettis. So the first thing I want to do, though, is go over to help you understand what to look for when we're talking about judging, because obviously that is what determined these fights tonight. So in this is straight off UFC.com's website. And also, I've heard this discussed on Big John McCarthy's podcast as well. So if you haven't seen that, it's Let's Get It On. Make sure you subscribe to it. He's always talking about rules and regulations, judging, reffing, and things like that. So first thing we need to discuss is how judges evaluate MMA. And they evaluate it like this. And we hear it every time, but I don't think people get it. Judges shall evaluate mixed martial arts techniques, such as effective striking, effective grappling, control of the ring or fighting area, effective aggressiveness, and defense. Now, here's the key thing. These evaluations shall be made in the order in which the techniques appear. And the order was effective striking, that's the first thing you look for. Second thing, effective grappling. The next is control of the ring. Next is effective aggressiveness and defense. So when we are talking about Dillashaw versus Cruz, a lot of people are saying, including TJ Dillashaw, he said, well, I had a better aggressiveness, I felt like I had better ring control, blah, 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 blah. He did, absolutely, especially throughout the whole fight. But we've seen this in the past with Cruz's opponents. They're always pressing forward, but Cruz wins. Why? Well, because they're not looking, the judges aren't looking first for who's aggressive. That's not the first thing you score on. You score on who has the better, more effective striking. That's the first thing. In the first 3 rounds, Dominic Cruz was being pressed back and slipping nearly every punch that and kick that Dillashaw threw. And there was a lot of good body kicks, a few right hands that landed by Dillashaw, but Cruz had better counter strikes. He was always landing that right hand and left hand. He was switching stances and landing kicks. There was much more effective striking in the first 3 rounds by Cruz, without a doubt. So what's the next thing you look at if you don't believe me? Or you didn't see it that way? Well then, who had the better grappling overall? Dominic Cruz had the better, because we're going in order. Dominic Cruz had the better grappling. Not only did he take Dillashaw down, he took him down several times, and TJ Dillashaw's never been taken down before. That's the next thing you look at. That's another reason why Dominic Cruz won the first 3 rounds. Those are the most important criteria to look for. Dominic Cruz had both those checked. Not in the last 2 rounds, but in the first 3. Now, when we talk about Anthony Pettis and Eddie Alvarez, well, there's something that kind of gets weird. Does the effective striking of Anthony Pettis outweigh the effective grappling of Eddie Alvarez? Because if you look at the fight, well, Pettis landed the more effective strikes. Because Alvarez didn't throw any strikes, basically. He had the more effective grappling. So that's kind of hard. So what's the next thing do we look at? Well, the next thing we look at, since this is kind of contestable, is the control of the fighting area. Alvarez had that. He had effective aggressiveness as well. And his defense was also his effective grappling. Now, when I first was scoring this fight, I scored the first 2 rounds for Pettis, based on the effective striking. But I forgot to keep in mind that the effective grappling also tied in with the aggressiveness and the control of the octagon. So now that in hindsight, I think about it, I do think Alvarez won that fight, and I think it was fair. But the judging in the Cruz fight was spot on. I think they got it, well, some of the judges got it right. But I see a lot of people saying that it was a robbery. No. They said it was a BS decision. It wasn't. I think if you go through and you reevaluate what the judges are looking for, and keep in mind that they evaluate it in a certain order. Once you do that, then it makes sense. But you always have to think about it. It's not just your initial decision. There's also some tape that we should review too. So hopefully in the future, when they upload it, or maybe I just watch it somewhere, I'll rewatch the fights and rescore it, and then keep in mind the way that they judge the fights. UFC.com/discovery/sport/rules and regulations, blah blah blah. I'll leave the URL in the description for you guys to review. And that way you can determine if the effective grappling was even worth it. Because effective grappling is judged by considering the amount of successful execution of a legal takedown and reversals. So, there you go. I feel that Cruz won the first 3 rounds, and he lost the last 2 pretty handily. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave your comment below. Catch you in the next one.